Hi everyone, it's Kathy Zilski. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a very bright, simple card with a very life-affirming sentiment. If you want to remind someone in your life to always be them or you know what I mean. All right, let's get started. Here are the supplies I am working with today, and the always be you sentiment comes from a new set designed by me called Yes You Can. It's just got a lot of affirming sentiments, things like always be you because you do you better than anything else. I'll be here cheering you on every step of the way. I love yes you can, you always could. I'll always believe in you. Dreams come true with hard work and you're the hardest working person I know. Just a collection of very encouraging sentiments. And I'm going to be using the Flickering Butterflies die and the ADELINE butterfly from Simon Says Stamp. This is part of the Fluttering by release. Thank you. I know what I'm talking about. I've got some Distress Oxides that I'm using today, 3 colors. I've got some big jumbo sponge daubers, which I've been using a lot lately for blending. Some clear ink and some Simon Says Stamp embossing powder that is in antique gold. Some Connect glue from Gina K Designs. I've got some full adhesive post-it notes because I'm going to do some really simple masking. I'm using my favorite die from Fawn. This is a dotted rectangle. 2 different weights of white cardstock, 110 and 80, both of the Neenah Solar White. And some assorted other things such as my Misty tool and one of my Misty Creative Corners. And just a few other tools as we go. So these are the base supplies. I'm going to start out by creating a colorful modified rainbow. I'm just going in the Roy. Red, orange, yellow. And I'm doing this to create something that I can cut my butterfly out of. And I always have like a piece of, I call it crap stock. I have a whole stack of it. And you can actually see the difference in the color. The Neenah is the bright white and the crap stock is just kind of dingy. But I'm just keeping that off to the side so I can dab off a little of my ink. And really quickly, I'm going to create one little colorful section for cutting that butterfly. Simple, this isn't rocket science blending, just a really basic blend of 3 Distress Oxides, comes together really quickly, and then I'm going to take my Distress sprayer, and I'm going to tap off a few little globbies of water just to get that little reaction with the Oxide ink so that I have just a few blotches like that. And then I'm going to set that aside to dry. Next, I'm going to score my card base, and this is going to score at 5.5. It's going to be top folding, but I am not going to fold it yet because I want to do some ink blending right on my card base. And I'm going to go ahead and use these post-it notes. I'm going to cut them into strips, and I'm just using this so I can quickly create a mask because I want to make sure that the edge of this card base does not get ink on it because the panel is smaller than the size of the card base, if that makes sense. So just really quickly masking it off, and again, I'm going to repeat the same blend of colors, the pink and the orange and the yellow. And again, I use these sponge daubers. They've just been kind of a nice tool for me. I have been getting better at ink blending, but these definitely feel really good in my hand, so I've been loving them. So there we go, just blending those colors together. Again, going to come in and just tap, 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 get a few water droplets on there so I have a similar look on this background, and I'm going to set that aside to dry. Next, I'm going to cut a dotted rectangle panel out of some Neenah Solar White 110 pound. I'm using the heavier weight because I'm going to do some heat embossing on this panel, and I just really want the cardstock to hold up. So once I've got that cut, then I'm taking that butterfly die, getting it right about where I want it to be, and I'm going to run that through the machine as well, because then I'm going to get all these really sweet little butterflies cut out of this panel. Sometimes I just whack it. Just kind of throw your die down and get those out. But look at that. Got all these cute little butterflies. Love it. Now that the other colorful panel has dried, I'm going to cut a butterfly, the larger butterfly, this is the ADELINE butterfly, out of that. And I'm going to actually cut 2 out because I'm not quite sure which butterfly I'm going to go with. Again, sometimes I just drop the die and out pops the butterfly. Isn't that cute? All right. Now it's time to position the panel and the butterfly and my sentiment, which is going to be always be you. So I've got it in my MISTI tool, going to stick my magnet down, and this is where I will use my creative corner because this lets me really quickly line up my sentiment rather than eyeball it. I'm not great at eyeballing. I'd like to think that I am, not so much. Now I'm going to remove all the static off of this panel because I only want my powder to stick where I want it to go. And I'm using the Simon Says Stamp clear embossing ink. I'm going to go ahead and give that a really good press down onto the paper. And then what I'm going to do is add my antique gold powder to that sticky sentiment area. And I'm trying to get better at just pouring into cardstock. I've seen so many people do this instead of coffee filters. And you know what? I'm getting better at it. It's not my strongest skill, but there you go. Now I'm just heating this and getting it all melty. And I did heat my heat tool up first to minimize the warping of the paper. Next, it's time to come up with an antenna. So I decided to make a little swatch of gold, again, using the embossing powder and just a scrap piece of paper. This is also just a scrap of the Neenah 110 pound. Just added a little bit of the clear ink, poured on some powder, tapped that off, and then I just went ahead and heat set it, and that gives me a little swatch of gold paper that matches my sentiment that I can use to go ahead and just cut out my little butterfly's antenna. And this works pretty good. Now I got a perfect match, and there you go. Golden antenna, not plural. All right. This Connect glue is an awesome glue. It's super strong. It's not, I've used it on a few projects now, and let me tell you people, nothing's coming off. So I'm going to add a little daub there right in the center. Just kind of move it around a little. It dries clear too, so you're not really going to see it. And I've got my little antenna and body, and I'm going to get it right where I want it, and then just press it down. Give it a second there so that it will stick. And now I'm putting just 2 little foam squares on the back of my butterfly. That's going to help give it a little bit of dimension on my card. All right. Now it's time to reveal, well, there's not much. This isn't magic masking. This is just, I didn't want anything on the edges. So now I'm going to go ahead and score that down, give it a nice good press down there with my bone folder. I'm going to bring in my Big Daddy roll of foam adhesive because I want to pop this panel up off of the card base. So I'm not going to make you watch this process because it's painful. But there it is, all that foam adhesive. Now here's a little trick that I do all the time. I will take a piece of my low-tack Post-it tape and I will stick it inside my card and then give it a good press down because I need my card to be flat so I can look straight down on it. And you know what I'm saying? It helps to visualize. Now I'm going to cover up that little butterfly, the last one in the little trail, and just place down my colored beautiful butterfly. And I did end up going with the one that had less yellow. And you can curl up the wings. I mean, they're going to get flattened in the mail, but you know, just for an effect. To finish the card, I decided I'm going to put a little bling on here. And I love these little crystals from Studio Katia. I just think they're beautiful, they're small, and they add just a nice bit of shimmer. So once I positioned them on the card, it's time to take the glossy accents and then go in and glue them. But here's the thing with my accents, and I think it's my tip. Every time I start it, it's blue. I think there's something in my tip, so I always have to run it so that it's clear because I do not want blue crystals. You know what I'm saying? I want them to be clear and lovely. So I'm just going to use my jewel picker here, put down a little daub of the glossy accents, work my way up the card, and the final jewel is in place, and this simple card is done. I think this is just a really bright, happy card featuring a lot of little techniques you can try, but nothing too overwhelming. I'm a firm believer in keeping it simple, my friends, and this simple design is making me happy, and I think I'm going to send it to my girl. Thanks so much for watching today, and if you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you back here again soon with another video tutorial.